Sexual crimes are any acts of sexual violence or coercion that violate the consent, dignity, and rights of the victims. They can have serious and lasting physical, psychological, and social consequences for the survivors and their communities. As in today's video, I'll be talking about a case that took the community to a storm. The case of Alice Gross. Alice Gross was a young girl who had a passion for music and art. She was born on the 14th of February 2000 in London, where she lived with her parents and sister. She attended Brentside High School and was a talented student who excelled in many subjects. She played the piano and guitar and wrote her own songs. She also enjoyed drawing, painting, and photography, and had a keen eye for color and detail. Alice was a kind, creative, and gentle soul who loved animals and nature. She suffered from anorexia, a condition that affected her self-esteem and health. A horrifying tragedy occurred one day when she went missing on the 28th of August 2014, after leaving her home for a walk along the Grand Union Canal. She often used to go out for a walk outside of her house, but as time passed and she didn't come home, her parents panicked. They made several appeals to find her, both directly to her and the public. They said they loved her, missed her, and wanted her to come home. They also asked anyone who saw her or had any information to contact the police. The campaigns to find Alice involved the local community of Hanwell, who tied yellow ribbons and spread posters with the hashtag #FindAlice. They also supported the police search efforts, which included divers, dogs, and helicopters. The search for Alice was the largest in the history of the Metropolitan Police, involving 600 officers from 8 services. They saw Alice walking along the Grand Union Canal towpath in Hanwell, West London, on the 28th of August 2014. This was the last time she was sighted.
Last night, the 30th of September, a search was carried out at the River Brent as part of our ongoing investigation into the disappearance of Alice Gross. Following this search, we have sadly recovered a body from the water.
Unfortunately, the campaigns did not find Alice alive. Her body was found hidden under logs on the bed of the River Brent on the 30th of September 2014, more than a month after she disappeared. She had been killed by compression asphyxia, which means her chest was squeezed until she could not breathe. Her body was naked and decomposed, and she was tied up in a horrifying position. The coroner ruled that her death was unlawful and sexually motivated. Also, after a while, police saw a man cycling beside Alice. This same cyclist was seen 3 times where Alice was found. Police believe that he was going back to the same place to do his activity to get rid of her body quickly and bury her. The man suspected was 41-year-old Arnis Zalkans, a Latvian builder who became the prime suspect in the murder of Alice Gross. He was suspected of killing his wife, Rudite, in Latvia in 1998 because she had told him she was going to leave him and allegedly molested his daughter. He confessed to taking her to a forest and attacking her with a steel pole and a knife, then burying her in a shallow grave. He served 7 years in prison for the murder before moving to the UK in 2007. When they searched this man's home, they found Alice's phone buried below the ground in his house. The police used the CCTV footage to trace Zalkon's movements and search the areas where he was seen. They also used other evidence, such as phone records and witness statements, and also his DNA, which was found near the crime scene to link him to Alice's murder. But unfortunately, he was not charged or sentenced for killing Alice because he unalived himself before the police could arrest him. He hanged himself in a park on the 4th of October 2014, and the police confirmed that he was the killer of Alice based on the evidence. Alice Gross's family was devastated by their loss and expressed their grief and love for their daughter in several public appeals. They said they were desperately concerned about her welfare and missed her smile and her singing. They also said they believed in freedom of movement and human rights and did not want Alice's murder to be exploited by anti-immigration groups. They called for reforms in the system of information sharing on foreign criminals across Europe after the inquest into Alice's death exposed serious inadequacies. The people and community reacted to the tragedy with shock and sadness, but also with solidarity and support. They joined the search efforts for Alice, tying yellow ribbons and spreading posters with the hashtag #FindAlice. They also wore yellow ribbons during the Ealing Half Marathon to jog people's memory. They paid tribute to Alice as a kind, creative, and talented girl who loved music and art. They set up a memorial fund in her name to support young musicians and artists. The case raised questions about the sharing of information on foreign criminals across Europe and the protection of vulnerable children. Alice's family called for reforms in the system, and the coroner made several recommendations to the Home Office to improve the checks and warnings on foreign nationals. Everyone has a role to play in preventing sexual crimes. We can all be active bystanders who intervene when we see or hear something that could lead to sexual violence. She was a sweet soul and will be remembered. Please make sure to subscribe to the channel, as it helps me a lot to make videos like these. Also, you can watch the cases that pop up on the screen,